Hey, Dr. Chris here, and today we're going to be discussing the safety pin cycle. Yes, life is based on a whole bunch of cycles. For example, we have the Earth traveling around the sun every 365 days. This gives us our yearly cycle, right? We've also got the moon traveling around planet Earth every 29.5 days or so. We get our lunar cycle, right? This can lead to the tides coming in and out and all kinds of other cycles in nature, right? And another one in the human body, especially the female body, all right, tons of cycles in there, right? And of course, the menstrual cycle, every 28 days or so, women get a new uteral lining of the uterus. And sometimes even that cycle can be interrupted, all right? Now, when that cycle gets interrupted, we got a whole other cycle we just went into called gestation, right? From conception until birth. And then once birth happens, then we have a whole other cycle from birth until death, okay? Or life, for that matter. So here we are, all right? Now, also within the body, we've got this other cycle in chiropractic we call the normal complete cycle. But that's pretty darn detailed and would take me forever to go over with you guys. So what we've done for the layperson is come up with what's called the safety pin cycle, okay? A simplified version of the normal complete cycle, which shows how the brain and body communicate with each other. So here is our safety pin. As you can see, at the top we have got the brain, and at the bottom we have the body, all right? Now we have got this information always, constantly, every single second of every single day, traveling from brain to body. We call that efferent information. We have information going from body to brain. We call that afferent information, okay? Now, as long as this cycle of information is complete without any interruption, you are going to function exactly how you were designed to function. Now, you may not feel the way you want to feel. You can still be symptomatic. You can still get injured. But what you will do is you will heal properly, you will think properly, and you will metabolize properly, okay? You will function normally, all right? Now, that's normal, all right? Now, what can happen to this cycle, all right? Now, we have outside forces we call universal forces, okay, or stress, all right? They can be all types of different forces, thoughts, traumas, toxins, okay? And if there's too many of these stressors that overcome our internal resistance to these stressors, we get this neurological tilting going on like an old school pinball machine, okay? Remember the old pinball machine? If you shook it too much, it would just freeze up and no paddles wouldn't work, the little bumpers wouldn't work anymore, and that ball would just fall in the hole, right? Until it got reset, okay? Very kind of a similar thing here going on, all right? In our body, if we get too much stress, we get this neurological locking of the upper cervical musculature, creating a misalignment in the upper neck, putting pressure onto the brainstem, and creating that interference in between the brain and the body and its ability to communicate, all right? We call this a subluxation, all right? And that subluxation is represented when that safety pin opens, just like that, okay? Now, that information trying to get from the body back up into the brain isn't quite getting there in the way it was designed to, all right? It's been distorted in some way, either sped up or slowed down, or just not getting that complete message up into the brain. So now the brain's getting an impartial message, and it is sending a message based on that impartial message back out to the body. So now we're getting this bad in, bad out situation, bad in, bad out, bad in, bad out, like a bad computer program, okay? This eventually is going to lead to a state of dis-ease, okay? Not disease, but dis-ease, or a lack of ease in the body, a lack of coordination, a lack of innervation, a lack of proper function, okay? And this eventually will lead to a symptom, okay? Now, those symptoms can be anything. And for today's talk, we're just going to leave it at symptom, okay? We're not going to try to get into any specifics. Now, let's say you go to a medical doctor and you sit down, and the medical doctor says, okay, so, well, what's going on? And you begin to rattle off your symptoms, okay? And he starts to write things down, and he says, okay, writes you a script and says, here, take this to the pharmacist, and check back with me in a few months, right? So what he did was just gave you a script for some medications, and what those medications are designed to do is merely to treat the symptom that you told your doctor, okay? Now, we also in chiropractic understand that symptoms are always an effect. They're never the cause, all right? There's always a cause for the effect, or there's always a reason for your symptom, okay? And the reason for a symptom, I'm going to scream this out at the top of the rooftops, is never going to be the lack of medication in your body, okay? So when the problem is starting on the inside, the answer lies on the inside as well, not on the outside, something you need to swallow, okay? So In chiropractic, we understand that no matter how many medications you take, your safety pin's still open. And as long as that safety pin is still open, there's going to be dis-ease in the body, and you're always going to have some sort of symptom you're chasing, okay? And so what we do is we look for that interference. Where we typically find it is where the head and neck join. And that misalignment in the upper neck, due to the fact that it's the most commonly misaligned area, puts pressure on the actual brainstem that, yes, causes problems throughout the entire body, okay? So when we find that safety pin of yours open, we make our upper cervical specific chiropractic adjustment to that neck. What that does, in effect, is closes your safety pin. Now what do we have? We have proper communication between brain and body. Now, if you've already watched my fundamental videos, you understand what happens once we make this adjustment. And the fundamentals are, number one, we're self-healing and self-regulating. So what happens once we get you adjusted and that safety pin is closed? We resume normal function and you begin to heal properly, think properly, and metabolize properly once again, all right? Then it's just about maintaining this. Now, when you come in and every time I check you with the old thermography instrument, all right, what I'm doing is ensuring that that safety pin is still closed, all right? And I am not going to adjust you until I scan you and that safety pin is open again. Then I know it's time to make another adjustment. I hope this makes sense for everybody. If there's any questions, just let me know, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget, be kind to your spine.